The chandelier sparkled above the crowded ballroom, but all her attention was on the man who made hearts stop. He didn't just walk into the room, he commanded it. The Mafia King. Dangerous, untouchable, and absolutely irresistible. She laughed nervously with her friends, spinning her glass of champagne. "I dare you," one of them whispered, smirking. "Go kiss him. Just for fun." Her stomach flipped. A dare? With him? The idea was insane and intoxicating. Before she could think twice, she was walking through the throng of admirers, her heels clicking on the marble floor. He noticed her immediately. That cold, calculating gaze landed on her, sharp as a blade, yet something flickered behind it, a spark she couldn't read. She froze a moment too long, then leaned in. Lips met lips. A quick, bold kiss. The room seemed to hold its breath. And then he grabbed her by the waist, pulling her back with an intensity that made her pulse spike. His eyes burned into hers. "We're not done yet," he said, his voice low, dangerous but undeniably claiming. She stumbled back, heart racing. The world felt off-kilter, like gravity had shifted. Everyone around them froze, watching, whispering, gossiping. But she only had eyes for him. "You," she started, words failing her. He didn't let go. Instead, he leaned in, brushing his lips near her ear. "You're not going anywhere tonight." Her knees almost gave way. Was this a threat? A promise? Or both? Before she could respond, he released her, slipping back into the crowd like he had never been there, leaving a trail of tension in his wake. Her friends clapped, laughed, teasing, but she barely heard them. She was still reeling from that single, electrifying touch. The night had started as a game. A joke. But after that kiss, nothing would ever be the same. And somewhere across the room he was watching her, calculating, waiting. She couldn't know yet how dangerously close she was to losing herself, and her heart, to the Mafia King. She thought the kiss at the party was just a reckless dare, a fleeting thrill. She was wrong. The next morning she woke to a message she couldn't ignore. "You can run, but you won't get far. I'll see you tonight." Her heart hammered. Who sent it? Only one person had the power, the audacity, the danger, the Mafia King. She tried to focus on her day, but every sound, every shadow made her jump. And then he appeared, like he always did, suddenly, impossibly close, as if he'd materialized from her imagination. "You," he said, his voice smooth, commanding. "You're mine." She laughed nervously, trying to keep control. "I think you've got the wrong girl." His smirk was dangerous, teasing. "No mistake. That kiss? That was my claim. And claims aren't broken." She wanted to step back, but something about the intensity in his eyes rooted her in place. It wasn't just desire. It was ownership. Possession. "I don't even know you," she said, trying to mask the flutter in her chest. He tilted his head, studying her. "And yet, I know you. More than you know yourself." Her phone buzzed with a warning she couldn't ignore. His men. Protection. Or perhaps a subtle threat. She swallowed hard, suddenly aware that being near him came with consequences. But even as fear prickled at her skin, a forbidden thrill coursed through her veins. "You're dangerous," she whispered. "And you," he countered, stepping closer, his voice low, almost a growl, "are deliciously reckless. Perfect for me." Her pulse raced. This wasn't just attraction, it was a battle of wills. Every instinct screamed to run, yet something deeper, darker, and hotter told her to stay. As he walked away, disappearing into the city night, she knew one thing: her life had changed forever. She could pretend she had a choice, but the Mafia King had already claimed her. And she wasn't sure if she wanted to fight it. She thought she could ignore him. She really did. Until danger found her. Walking home through the dimly lit streets, she sensed eyes on her. Shadows moved where they shouldn't. Her pulse spiked. Every step echoed like a warning. Then, from nowhere, a group of men emerged, rough, menacing, and clearly not there for a friendly chat. Fear tightened around her chest. She tried to run, but they blocked her path. "Looking for trouble?" one of them sneered. Before panic could consume her, a cold, commanding voice cut through the air. "Step aside." Her heart skipped. He appeared like a shadow in the night, the Mafia King. Every movement was precise, dangerous, and mesmerizing. He didn't hesitate. Within moments, the men were on the ground, subdued by strength and authority that made her knees weak. He turned to her, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, too stunned to speak. "You shouldn't walk alone," he said, his gaze dark and protective. Every word sent a shiver down her spine. "It's reckless. And you don't belong in their world." His hand lingered near hers, a possessive claim she couldn't resist. The danger, the adrenaline, the forbidden pull between them, it was intoxicating. I can take care of myself, she stammered, trying to sound brave. He smirked, shaking his head. No. Not from them. Not from anyone. Something in his tone made her heart ache and race at the same time. He wasn't just protecting her, he was staking a claim. And she couldn't deny the thrill of it. As he walked her to safety, his presence so close she could feel his heat, she realized something terrifying and exciting. Being near him meant surrendering control. And yet she wanted to. The city lights glinted off his sharp suit, reflecting the dangerous promise in his eyes. You belong with me, he whispered, low and possessive. No one else can have you. Her breath caught. The night had started as a dare, then a kiss, and now it had turned into something far more consuming. Something she couldn't escape. She thought she knew him, the charming, dangerous man who'd pulled her into his world. But tonight she realized she barely scratched the surface. He led her into a sleek, dimly lit room, away from the prying eyes of the city. Every corner whispered power, wealth, and danger. Her stomach twisted with a mix of fear and thrill. You need to understand who I am, he said, voice low, serious. My world, it's not for the faint of heart. She swallowed hard. I don't know if I can handle it. He stepped closer, the heat from his body making her dizzy. This isn't a game. Every choice has consequences. People I care about get hurt. And anyone who stands against me disappears. Her pulse raced. The Mafia King she'd kissed on a dare wasn't just a thrill anymore. He was a storm, untouchable and terrifying. You're dangerous, she whispered, unable to keep the awe and fear from her voice. He smirked, eyes dark and intense. And you're reckless enough to step into it? That's why I can't let you go. Her hands trembled as she realized the truth. Being with him wasn't just forbidden, it was life-threatening. Yet, somewhere deep inside, excitement bubbled up. Danger had never felt so intoxicating. I don't belong here, she said, trying to convince herself, but her heart betrayed her. Yes, you do, he countered, stepping so close that she could feel every beat of his chest. Because I won't let anyone else have you. And because you're the only one I want. The only one I can claim. Her breath hitched. Desire and fear tangled inside her like a wildfire she couldn't control. I don't know if I can trust you, she admitted. You don't have to, he said, brushing his fingers over her jaw. You only have to know this. My obsession with you isn't a choice. It's inevitable. Her heart thudded painfully in her chest. She knew he was right. She couldn't resist him. And she couldn't walk away, not from him and not from the dangerous, consuming pull that had already claimed her soul. Tonight she learned the truth. This wasn't just a kiss. This wasn't just a dare. She was stepping into a world that could destroy her, or make her feel more alive than ever. And there was no turning back. The next night she found herself at a private dinner in his penthouse, the city lights casting a golden glow through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Every detail screamed power, his world, his rules, his obsession with her. He poured her wine, eyes never leaving hers. You look irresistible tonight, he murmured, his words sending a shiver down her spine. She laughed nervously, trying to hide the rapid beat of her heart. You're flattering me. I don't flatter, he said, leaning closer, so close she could feel his breath. I claim. Every word made her pulse spike. His touch was magnetic, dangerous, intoxicating. She tried to resist, telling herself this was reckless, forbidden. But the heat in his gaze, the way his hand hovered near hers, made her body betray her. You're playing a dangerous game, she whispered. And you, he countered, brushing a strand of hair from her face, are playing with fire. Perfectly, deliciously reckless. I like that. The tension crackled between them, thick and undeniable. He was testing her, teasing her, drawing her into a world she knew she shouldn't want, but did anyway. You think you can resist me? He asked softly, almost taunting. She swallowed, heart hammering. I don't know if I should try. That's the point, he said, moving so close that she could feel every beat of his chest. You shouldn't resist. Not me. Not this. Her mind screamed warning, but her body refused to listen. One brush of his fingers against hers, one lingering gaze, and the fire inside her surged uncontrollably. Then just as quickly he pulled back, leaving her craving more. Patience, he whispered, a dangerous promise in his tone. The game has only just begun. As she left, heart racing and mind reeling, she realized how intoxicating danger could be, how thrilling it was to be desired, claimed, and chased by the Mafia King himself. And somewhere deep down she knew, giving in would be inevitable. Because temptation, once unleashed, was impossible to resist. The world she thought she knew was crumbling. Being close to him wasn't just thrilling, it was dangerous. She had barely returned home when a black car pulled up outside her apartment. Two men stepped out, their eyes cold, calculating. A note was slipped under her door: "Stay away from him or pay the price." Fear shot through her. She knew immediately, it was from his enemies. Anyone who wanted to hurt him would start with her. Before panic could take hold, he appeared in the shadows, smooth and lethal as ever. "Did you really think danger wouldn't follow you?" His voice was low, commanding, possessive. She tried to step back, but he reached for her, strong and sure. "I won't let anyone touch you," he said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Not them. Not anyone." Her chest tightened. She wasn't just involved in his world, she was in the eye of a storm she couldn't escape. You're dangerous," she whispered. He smirked, eyes flashing. "Dangerous? Perhaps. But necessary. Because I can't lose you, not to anyone and not to yourself." Her pulse raced as he pulled her into his car, shielding her from the eyes that lurked in the night. Every movement screamed possession, protection, obsession. The city lights blurred past, but all she could focus on was him. The Mafia King who had claimed her heart, her body, and now, it seemed, her very safety. "You belong with me," he murmured, brushing his thumb over her jaw. "And anyone who tries to take you, I will make them regret it." Her body responded against her will, fear and desire tangled in a deadly, intoxicating mix. She knew she shouldn't feel safe, but with him for the first time she did. As the car pulled up to his private estate, she realized the terrifying truth. Loving him meant danger was inevitable. Every moment, every touch, every heartbeat could change her life forever. And yet, she wouldn't walk away. Not now. Not ever. Because once claimed by the Mafia King, there was no turning back. The heat between them had been simmering for weeks, but tonight, it was impossible to ignore. They were alone in his penthouse, the city lights painting gold and shadows across the room. Every glance, every brush of his hand, made her pulse race. "I shouldn't be here," she whispered, though her voice trembled with desire. He stepped closer, closing the distance until she could feel the fire of his body. "Shouldn't you?" he murmured, lips just inches from hers. "Or are you lying to yourself?" Her heart betrayed her. She had tried to resist him, tried to tell herself it was dangerous, reckless, forbidden. But now, standing this close, every rule she had built around her heart dissolved. He brushed a hand against her cheek, his thumb tracing the line of her jaw. "You're mine," he said softly, almost a growl. "Every part of you." Her breath caught. Desire collided with fear, and she finally understood the truth. She wanted him as much as he wanted her. I can't," she stammered, knowing it was a lie. He smirked, pressing closer, letting the heat of his body speak what words couldn't. "You can. You will. Because I won't take no for an answer." And then the first kiss came, slow, deliberate, claiming. His lips molded to hers like fire and ice, dangerous and intoxicating. She melted into him, every nerve on fire, every thought gone. When he finally pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. "Do you understand now?" he whispered, voice husky. "I don't ask. I take. You're mine." Her knees nearly buckled. Desire roared in her chest, mingled with fear. Being with him meant surrendering, to passion, to danger, to a world she barely understood. And yet, she couldn't deny it. She wanted it. Wanted him. Even if it burned her. As the night stretched on, every touch, every glance, every whisper drew her deeper into his orbit. The Mafia King wasn't just a man, he was a storm, consuming and relentless, and she was powerless against him. But she didn't want to be. Because surrendering to him was both terrifying and thrilling beyond anything she'd ever known. She thought she understood his world. She thought she could survive it. But tonight, everything shattered. It started with a message she never wanted to see: "I know your secret. If you don't obey, everything falls apart." Her stomach dropped. Someone had discovered her connection to the Mafia King, and now she was the target. When she told him, the change in him was instant. His eyes, usually cold and commanding, darkened into something terrifying. Possession, rage, and heartbreak all rolled into one. "Who did this?" he demanded, his voice low and lethal. "I don't know," she admitted, shaking. "But they know about us." He stepped closer, and though his arms were meant to protect, she felt the sharp edge of his anger. "I should make them pay," he growled, jaw tight. "I should destroy anyone who threatens you." She reached out, trembling. I don't want them hurt because of me. He looked at her, pain flashing behind the storm in his eyes. You think I care about consequences? You think I care about anything except you? For the first time she saw the raw depth of his obsession. It terrified her. And yet, it ignited something forbidden inside her, desire mixed with fear. Then came the betrayal. Someone she trusted, someone close, had revealed her to his enemies. Her chest ached as she realized she had lost control of her own life. He held her close, possessive, protective, but also almost painfully honest. I can't promise this world is safe, he said, lips brushing her hairline. But I can promise this, no one will touch you while I'm alive. Tears welled in her eyes. The danger, the thrill, the love, they all collided into a storm she couldn't escape. She wanted to run. To hide. To protect herself from the chaos he brought. But deep down she knew she wouldn't. Because even in betrayal, even in heartbreak, the pull between them was undeniable. And the Mafia King, the man who had claimed her in a single daring kiss, would never let her go. The city had grown quiet, but danger never slept. Tonight it came for them, relentless, merciless, and impossible to ignore. She had barely stepped out when chaos erupted. Gunfire, shouting, and the unmistakable smell of danger filled the air. His world had collided with hers, and there was no escaping it. He grabbed her hand, pulling her behind him as his men engaged in a deadly dance of power and control. Stay close, he commanded, his eyes blazing. I will protect you. Her heart pounded, not just from fear but from the thrill of being with him in the eye of the storm. Every instinct screamed to run, but she couldn't let go of him. She didn't want to. Enemies appeared at every turn, their faces twisted with greed and hatred. But he moved like a shadow, a predator, unstoppable and precise. Every motion screamed possession. Every word reminded her that she was claimed. You shouldn't be here, she whispered, clutching his arm. I told you, he growled, pulling her closer. You belong with me. And no one will take you from me. The battle raged on, bullets flying, alliances crumbling. And then, amid the chaos, he shielded her, taking every risk, every hit, every threat onto himself. In that moment, fear and desire collided inside her. This man, dangerous as he was, had become her anchor, her obsession, her world. When the last threat fell and silence returned, he looked at her, dark, intense, and utterly claiming. Do you understand now? He asked, voice low and possessed. You're mine. And I will fight to the end for you. She nodded, breathless, heart hammering. I understand. He pulled her into his arms, and for a fleeting moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Danger might still lurk in shadows, but in his embrace she felt an intoxicating certainty. She was his. And he was hers. No one could touch what they had now, not enemies, not betrayal, not fate itself. Because in the heart of chaos, love, and obsession, burned hotter than fire. The sun hadn't risen yet, but the night had already changed everything. They stood in the quiet aftermath, streets empty, enemies defeated, both of them breathless from the war they'd survived together. He turned to her, hands still trembling with adrenaline. She had never seen him look like this, not powerful, not intimidating, but real. Vulnerable. Human. You should walk away from me, he said quietly. Before this life destroys you. She stepped closer, shaking her head. You fought for me. I'm not running now. He swallowed, jaw tense. I'm not a good man. She touched his chest, feeling the frantic beat of his heart. I didn't fall in love with a good man. I fell in love with you. Something inside him finally broke. Something he had spent years building. The wall that kept him untouchable. His hand slid behind her neck, drawing her in until their foreheads touched. No more lies, he murmured. No more distance. If you stay as mine. Her pulse raced, heat rushing through her. Then claim me. He kissed her, not like a lover but like a man sealing fate itself. Possessive, deep, and trembling with everything he never said. When they finally parted, he cupped her face. I'll build you a world where no one can reach you. I swear it. And I'll stand with you, she whispered back. Even if the world burns. His men emerged then, battered, bleeding but loyal. They looked at her differently, not as an outsider, but as the woman their commander would tear the world apart to protect. Respect. Acceptance. A silent coronation. He wrapped an arm around her waist. From this moment, he said loud enough for every man to hear, she is under my protection. Anyone who touches her, answers to me. They bowed. Her life would never be the same. She was stepping into darkness, but not alone. He walked her toward the car, hand in hers, and for the first time she didn't fear the future. She embraced it. He opened the door for her and leaned in, voice low and rough. "Welcome to my world, sweetheart." She smiled. "Let's rule it together." And just like that, the story didn't end. It began.